learn. I've got my notes ready to take. I just like everyone else, and we're excited to get you guys going. Just so everyone knows, Mel is someone who Shannon and I met at a an elite mastermind for 6 and 7 figure business owners. And as soon as we started talking, we just felt I just felt a connection with him, and he's doing some great things to support speakers. He's down in the LA area doing some really innovative things, filling events very aggressively and consistently. So I'm excited to bring someone of his success and his insight to our tribe. I think it's going to be really great.
Awesome. Well, Mark, thank you for that. That means a lot coming from someone like you. And I know you and Shannon are just doing some phenomenal things, and you're really helping people step up to become powerful speakers, to share their message, to really get on track with their purpose and their mission and their passion. And that's why when you asked me to share this with them, I jumped at the opportunity. It's something that I've applied myself. It's something that I've helped start up 3 different seminar companies that have helped me continue speak consistently and to make money doing what I love. And whenever I meet other leaders like you and Shannon that are just doing great things in the world, I'm here just to add some value. So thank you for that introduction, Mark.
You bet. You bet.
All right. Well, shall we just jump into it?
Let's do it.
All right, awesome. We're going to have a lot of fun here on this webinar, and my preference is obviously to see all of your shining faces, but I know a lot of you are coming in from all different areas, and so when we got to use the webinar, we can have fun doing that too. And I know a lot of you on the webinar right now are speakers, you're coaches, you're some of you are just now stepping into your purpose and passion and getting out there in a big way and speaking more, and others you've been already doing it. Maybe you've already been doing workshops, maybe you've heard of meetups, and that's also phenomenal. And wherever you are in your speaking career is a perfect place, because I'll share a little bit about myself, but what I've been able to do, and this has been 5 years in the making, right? 5 years in the making. I've been able to grow 3 seminar businesses. Each one did 6 figures within 12 months, the first year. And one of them grossed over $1.7 million in the last, I'd say, 25 months. And it's been just a roller coaster. There's been ups, there's been downs, and there's been a lot of fun, and there's been a lot of learning challenges. And so on this webinar, I'm going to give you, because we only have a limited amount of time, I'm going to give you as much value as humanly possible. And what I'm going to share with you is 80% of our marketing. 80% of our marketing is done through a website called meetup.com. And I'm going to teach you how to market it. I'm going to teach you how to use it. I'm going to teach you how to monetize Meetup. And some of you have heard about Meetup and you've been to a Meetup, maybe even some of you have a Meetup, and you're just looking at figuring out how to do it better. And I'm really going to leave nothing. I'm going to share with you exactly how I did it. And if any questions come up, there's a little questions tab. You can type in questions, and if I and then at the end I can answer them. And so I'd be happy to do that. So let's just jump right on in. Um, Meetup, what I found is the number one social media tool that is still the diamond in the rough to find your perfect client online and to bridge the gap and bring them offline into a place where you can inspire them, motivate them, share them the benefits of your product and service, and get them to buy. Now, absolutely love speaking to speakers because you're already in a place to begin to understand the value you have to share with the world. And when you use Meetup properly, because there's a right and wrong way to use it, you can absolutely double and triple your clients and create your own stage. So I'm going to dive into all these really good things. Some of you will get some breakthrough ideas. And what I recommend is that you take some really good notes. So anything that really resonates with you and you're like, wow, that's really awesome, write that down and make sure you apply it. So let's jump in. All right. So what's working today? You see, business in the past has been done differently, and business going into the future is also going to be done differently. And what I've noticed, being a serial entrepreneur, I've started up 6 different companies, and 2 of them have hit 7 figures. And by the way, those 6 companies have all been outside of the seminar industry. What I found what's working today, and it's literally like a lock. It's like understanding the code to the lock to unlock it so you can get an amazing stream of clients and really continue to make more of an impact to get paid more. This is the key here is value. The first step is to ask yourself right now, if you want to get more clients, if you want to get paid more, the question is, how can I add more value out there into the world? And what I found, one of the greatest ways to add value is through Meetup, is through speaking. And that's why what Mark and Shannon are teaching is absolutely amazing. And oftentimes it pushes people to their boundaries. It really pushes them outside of their comfort zone. And if you can get comfortable with being outside of your comfort zone, then that locks in guaranteed results, a whole new set of results, because everything you want, everything you desire is outside of that comfort zone. And so the first step is to ask yourself, how can we create more value? How can we create these type of webinars? Maybe it's do more workshops. And how can we structure it in a way where it makes sense in a marketing realm? And when we talk about marketing, what's working now is marketing and building and creating a community, is creating a tribe, is creating a community that loves your value and they believe in what you have to share. And therefore, they love you so much, they consistently buy from you and they wait for you to come out with a product so they buy it. An example of this right now, many of you have heard of this gentleman. His name is Brennan Bouchard. And Brennan Bouchard is somebody that I look up to. He has made about $30 million in the industry. But it's not only about the amount of money he made, it's more about how he has continuously been serving the community. And whenever he launches, he just did a launch and they sold over, I believe the number was 3,000 units at several $1,000s at a $2,000 price point. And maybe some of you bought this program. They just did the launch. So you do the numbers. 3,000 times 2,000, you're doing quite well. But how was he able to do that? Well, first of all, he gives unparalleled value. And then he has a community to sell it to. He has a community to serve. He has a community that when he comes out with something, they know and trust it's going to be phenomenal and they buy. So you go from value to community and then you go to expert status. So people know that Brennan Bouchard is an expert at what he does. They know he's credible. And so when you more often than not can mark yourself out as an expert, people will buy from you. And that's what's really working today. Well, there's a cow. And this formula, I like to call it the cash cow formula. Now, some of you, maybe you've seen me speak. You know, I always wear a fedora when I speak. But this is the cash cow formula. When you can create, or not even necessarily create your own value, but maybe you go out there and you do a bunch of research and you put all that research together and then deliver that value. You can do that also, right? Meetup, I didn't create Meetup, but what I did create was a strategy around it to be able to monetize it month after month after month after month. And because of that, Meetup is a community building tool, right? So Meetup started in 2001, right after 9/11, right after the attacks. There was a group of guys in New York that said, you know what, now more than ever, community needs to be put together. Now more than ever, we need to help others unite. And they created Meetup. And Meetup is not business friendly at all. As a matter of fact, if you just go onto Meetup and you put up a Meetup page, and it's all about your business, they'll shut you down. And yes, it's happened to me a few times. So I'm here to actually teach you what has worked and what hasn't worked so you can learn. And when you do it right, you will build a community around your education, around your value. Well, that automatically sets you up to become an expert. So all Meetup really is, for those of you that are hearing Meetup for the first time, it's a social media site that is specifically designed for people that want to meet up offline, right? I mean, I've posted live events on Facebook, and I tell you, I haven't got a good result with getting people from Facebook to a live event in a specific demographic. If you have, I'd like to learn from you and how you've done it. But Meetup is specifically designed for people who actually want to meet up in your community within a 10-mile radius. And what that does is that sets you up as an expert. So literally what Meetup does is it creates for you your own stage that every single, it could be a week, it could be every month, it could be every couple months, you have at least your own stage to speak on. And I remember when I first got started in speaking and growing my speaking practice and my coaching practice and doing workshops and events, that I no one would have me speak because no one knew about me. And now, thankfully, I'm blessed with speaking engagements, but before it wasn't like that. And so what I just decided to take my future in my own hands, and I created my own stage, which part of that was Meetup. Okay. So let me tell you a little bit about myself so you know who I am and you know a little bit of background about me. Well, my first job at 19, or actually not at 19, at 16 years old, was I worked at a restaurant called Islands. And working at Islands, you know, as soon as I turned 16, my parents were like, Mel, you need to get out there and you need to get a job. My parents, bless them, I love them. They gave me everything that I needed, but there were so many things that I wanted, they could not give them to me. And, you know, I they pushed me to figure out a way. And today, I can thank them. Back then, I wasn't so thankful. But they pushed me to, Mel, look, if you want those finer things in life, you have to go out there and make it. And my parents, you know, people live their life either as a warning or as an example. And both my parents, they're hard workers. They're both Russian immigrants. They came here from Russia. And my mom works a job that she absolutely hates. And my dad has his own business, but it's more like the business owns him. And my dad would always say, Mel, all you have to do to be successful is get good grades, go to school, work really hard, get a good job, and that's it. But the thing was, is that I saw that's what they did. And every single day, they were working their butts off. They weren't happy about it. They would get into arguments about money. And I didn't want that. And so early on in my life, I saw what I didn't want. And I took the traditional route. So I worked many different jobs and I got fired from every single one of them. And I ended up getting into college, but I dropped out. And my parents were absolutely furious. At 19 years old, I dropped out of college. And luckily, during that time, I found a mentor. And this mentor it's kind of funny how things happen. Is I was working a few different jobs. One of my jobs was valet. I was working at a pretty fancy restaurant in Long Beach, California. And this gentleman was a regular. He'd come in and people would spend a few $100s for dinner at this restaurant. And I remember he'd pull up in a car that was as much as a house. He had what I called the trifecta. He had amazing health. He looked very fit. He had an amazing relationship with his wife, it seemed like to me. And it looked like he had financially was set. And he would be gone for months out of the year. And I'd ask, you know, hey, where did you go? And he's like, oh, you know, I just got back from Bali. I just got back from traveling all around the world. And, you know, I just thought to myself, wow, I want to be like that. I want to have those things. But in my programming, I had a lot of limiting beliefs, a lot of negative emotions, and rich people always were scary to me. But one day I was just sick and tired of being sick and tired, And when he was walking out, I asked him two questions that completely changed my life. I said, "Sir, what is it that you do? And can you help me, please?" And he looked at me. And in my mind, I thought he was just going to smack me across the face. But luckily, he handed me his business card and he said, "Mel, I want you to call me tomorrow at 7 o'clock." And back then, 19 years old, I only had one 7 o'clock in my time schedule, and it was in the PM, not in the AM. But I had to step outside of my comfort zone. And he said, and we met for coffee, and he shared with me principles that completely changed my life. He told me things like, "Mel, if you want to be successful in life, you should never exchange dollars for hours. Never exchange hours for dollars." He said, "Mel, if you want to be successful, you have to create something one time and sell it forever." And he would share with me these type of principles that completely blew my mind. He said, "Mel, if you want to be successful, you have to do two things over and over and over again." And I said, "Well, what are these two things?" And he looked at me and he said, "Mel, the first thing is you have to become more valuable to the marketplace, whatever it is. If you need to take courses, if you need to spend some money on a course, if you need to gain the skills on how to become more valuable, buying books, whatever it might be, you have to become more valuable to the marketplace." I wrote that one down. He's then said, step two is you have to learn how to take that value and bring it out to the marketplace. And he said, in other words, that is called marketing. Well, guess what? 19 years old, I wasn't going to argue with him because I had exactly what I wanted. I did exactly what he told me to do. At 19 years old, I started up my first internet company. This was in 2001. And we created a company that sold dial-up internet. We went around, and that got me on my adventure of entrepreneurship, starting 6 companies. 2 of them hit 7 figures. I retired when I was 25. That's me on an island that when I semi-retired just north of Honduras. That was a little puppy that I had. And that was a bar that I actually owned on this island called Roatan. And on this island, I met my fiance now, the love of my life, Kate. And we happily live right now in Corona del Mar. We have a beautiful view of the ocean and we live a phenomenal life. And I don't say that to impress you because I'm not here to do that. All I'm here to do is to impress upon you that if you have the right strategy, if you have the right mentors, if you're willing to put in the work, because it will take time, Meetup is not get rich quick. It's actually far from that. It's going to take your dedication, it's going to take your blood, sweat, sometimes even tears, and it's going to take work. But if you get started now, it will you will be able to bear the fruits of your labor because it is, in my opinion, the ultimate vehicle. And now I get asked, I created a company. When I came back to the States, I created a company called Success Academy. That's me, third from the left there. I get asked to speak all the time with some amazing people like Joel Bauer, R.V. Robinson, Topher, just awesome people like Jill Lublin, um, people here like Michael Gerber, who wrote the E Myth, just Jay Abraham, Jarek Robbins. It's been phenomenal because Meetup has actually helped me launch my speaker business, and it can do the same for you. So now that you know a little bit about myself, one of the main results that we've gotten by having multiple meetups in multiple demographics, and now I have trainers that do these meetups, well, that turns into 100+ person event. That's me up there. You can see I'm wearing little fedora. We have a signature event we do called the Entrepreneur Revolution. So Meetup, even though you can master Meetup, you still need a proper business funnel to be able to get people from your Meetup into a live event or from a Meetup into your coaching. And the strategy behind that is what I help and what my team helps entrepreneurs and speakers and coaches do. We help build out that strategy so you can just do what you love, get up there on stage, feel the excitement, feel the adrenaline pumping, share some phenomenal education, inspire the masses, and get them to reward you with their money because you are in exchange giving them a powerful program that will benefit them in some way, somehow in their life. So where we want to start off is by asking ourselves, social media. Okay, we are hearing social media all the time, everywhere. People are constantly talking about that. Well, here's the truth about social media is how many sites do you think there are? You know, as of this morning, there's 1,000,000 200,000, 75,000, you and counting. Just so many social media sites that is just crazy. And really, that was just a wild guess. But here are the top three. We have Facebook, Twitter, we have YouTube, and number nine. Number nine is Meetup. Meetup gets 8 million unique monthly visitors every month. And these are specific, there's not one social media tool that I have found that helps people go, that you can actually find their likes, interests, create a community that wants to hear what you have to share, and then bring them offline into an intimate setting. So, what makes Meetup different than any of them? Well, 99.99% of all other social media sites, you will never meet any other members in person, right? You make a bunch of friends on Facebook, but come on, are they ever really going to be your friends? And what is the actual chance that you're going to meet them off of Facebook, right? Slim to none. But Meetup is actually designed for you to do that. So that's why it's perfect for speakers, because what Meetup lacks is quality meetups. I mean, there are meetups, every type of meetup you can think of. I mean, you know, pub crawls from yoga to karate to wine drinking clubs, whatever you can think of, there's a meetup for it. And the biggest problem is finding quality meetups. So, what is now most important than ever before is, you got it, sumo wrestling. No, I'm just kidding. It is belly to belly contact. That is what's so important. I know there's some graphic images, but belly to belly is still the main thing people want. They want personal contact. You see, we've gone online and we're bombarded by so many emails. Most of them we don't even read anymore, that we want personal connection. And now is the time to capitalize that through Meetup. So, how long does it take to set up a Meetup? Well, to be honest with you, on average 10 minutes. It's fast. It's honestly, it's easy. It really is. It's, you do 3 steps. You go to meetup.com, you click on start meetup, and you follow the instructions. That's it. That's honestly how easy it is. You could, if you really wanted to, get a meetup started tonight. You could. Now the only question is are you going to create a successful one, or are you going to create an average to subpar one? Well, if you follow those steps, and only those steps, you will not create a powerful meetup that gets people consistently to that meetup for you to share your value and your information you have. So I'm going to share with you the 3 biggest mistakes meetup organizers make. These are not only meetup organizers, but also speakers who eventually will take on the role as meetup organizer. And these 3 biggest mistakes will save you a lot of time and a lot of money. So these are the 3 biggest mistakes. The first one is improper setup. Yes, you can just go on Meetup, and yes, you can just click start up a Meetup. Well, the thing is that there's a right and wrong way to set up a proper Meetup. For example, you want to create persuasive titles and a persuasive description, because if you don't set it up properly the first time, that's it. That is your one and only chance. Because what Meetup does is once you set up your Meetup, they send out to their database, which is millions of people, one time. That's it. You have one time to set up your Meetup properly. If you don't, what happens is it won't look good. People won't join because you didn't write a good description, and that's it. You'll lose interest, and there's a right and wrong way to do it. So what I did, and I wasn't planning on doing this, but there was so much demand from people asking me, Mel, well, how did you do this? How did you go from $0 to making over six figures in 12 months and then doing millions of dollars in revenue with Meetup being 80% of my marketing? Well, what I did is I created Meetup Zoo, and Meetup Zoo helps coaches, speakers, entrepreneurs strategize their strategy on Meetup. And we have a home setup system because oftentimes the serious people who are like, okay, well, Meetup sounds awesome. I've tried it, it hasn't worked for me, or I haven't tried it and I really want to do it. Well, the Meetup Master system has the way to properly set it up. The next thing is that organizers have meetups, but there's no value. It's all fluff, and these meetups are too salesy. So it's important. Some of you on the line might have a book, and I'm going to give you, here's a golden nugget. I'm going to give you a golden nugget. It's a breakthrough idea. It's absolutely phenomenal. I recently spoke on a stage, Author 101, and it was a phenomenal group of authors. And so I said to them, imagine going on your own book tour, creating your own book tour, because going on a book tour nowadays, unless you're with a big publisher, you have some good people that know what they're doing, you're not going to go on one if you want to. Well, if you want to and you want to do something local and not necessarily have to travel all over the place, you can set up meetups around your book. Each chapter could be an educational topic for your meetup. Now let's take it one step further. Now, what if you record each of your meetups? You record each of your meetups, and now you have a video. Now, each video can be a module in an online membership that people are paying you $99, $67, $47, whatever it might be, every single month for your content. That's the type of stuff I'm talking about, to be able to leverage what you're already doing, make money maybe even before your book is out, and create something one time and sell it forever. Meetup is a great way to start to think about how to diversify your revenue streams by doing the same thing you're currently doing. So add great value. Let me give you an example of what we do. So throughout Orange County, California, San Diego, and LA, we have entrepreneur masterminds. My target market for the signature event we do, it's called the Entrepreneur Revolution, is entrepreneurs. So what we hold is free. They're absolutely free. You got to give value, appetizers. And once someone tastes your appetizer, they absolutely love it. They want the full course meal. So what I believe in is free value. Let them at least get the opportunity to sample what you have. So we do free meetups. Some people charge. I would recommend doing it for free. You would only charge if you have no back end to monetize. But if you do have a back end, a business funnel to monetize, then I would recommend doing a free mastermind. So we do a free mastermind. And what happens is it's packed with value. People leave and they're like, this is absolutely amazing. Well, at the end of that, once we've proven to them, hey, we know our stuff, we've taught them something that they could actually make money doing, whether it's in sales, marketing, mindset, or team building, we then say, you can come to our 2-day event. And we offer our 2-day event at a discount. So we give great value. And then at the end of the meetup, we sell something small. And that in a smaller price point, but still phenomenal value. So, and oftentimes meetups are not run properly and it's all fluff. So make sure if you decide to move forward with setting up a meetup, you're going to give some great value. Then the final biggest mistake that is, and this is actually 3 mistakes out of 11 mistakes. And if you want to get all 11 mistakes, I'll give you a website. You can just go to it and you'll get like a PDF manual with the bullet points of all 11. And it's important for you to get them because if you are thinking about starting up a meetup, then you should want to know, learn from wisdom, and have great experiences, but truly learn from wisdom. So no follow-ups. Okay, so follow-up, obviously, everyone on the call, you know that there's money in two things. There's money in two things. Write these things down. There is money in follow-up. There is money in list creation. So I'm going to say that again. The money is in the follow-up. Right now, you have leads you're looking at on your desk, just like me, a stack full of business cards, and there's money sitting in those business cards right now. And they are not being monetized because there's not a follow-up system. Well, to be honest with you, I'm not good at follow-up. That's why I have systems that are really good at follow-up. One of the systems I use is Infusionsoft. Many of you heard of Infusionsoft, but it's a CRM. It's a contact management software that once I get leads, I just put them in there, and then Infusionsoft follows up. If you're not ready for something like Infusionsoft, then you might want to consider something like Aweber, which I use also. Aweber, Aweber, that's also .com, is a contact management system. It's more affordable, and it's something where you can capture leads and continuously follow up on them. And you're building your list. So two things. If you want to make more money this year, in 2014, it depends on your follow-up, it depends on your list building skills, and it also depends on the programs you launch. So if you don't launch, and the offers you make, right? So if you don't launch a program and you're not making offers and you don't have a list and you're not following up, that is exactly how to stay broke. That is the formula to stay broke. I'm going to repeat that again because it's just really powerful. Start building your list even more, because a lot of you are already doing it. I know I'm speaking to a higher level of entrepreneur here, a speaker, and if you're hanging out with Mark, then I know that he's also teaching you this type of stuff. So build your list, figure out ways to do it better. Meetup actually is a great way to build your list because members join, and there's a secret way to get their phone numbers and emails, because meetup.com won't give it to you, but there's a secret way that I figured out how to do it, and I'll share that with you at the end. So build a list, follow up, get systems to follow up better, and make sure you come up with a program. It doesn't need to be perfect. Come up with a program this year and make an offer. Make an offer. Okay. So again, that the name of the CRM system is aweber.com, AWEBER.com. Or if you're ready for it, some people are, some people aren't. Infusionsoft is for some of you. It's like the next level. Okay. So these are the three biggest mistakes. If you want the full 11 biggest mistakes, go to meetupzoo.com. Okay, that's my website. It will explain a little bit more about what Meetup Zoo can do for you, and you will immediately get the 11 biggest mistakes as soon as you opt in. Just put in your name, your email, and exchange. I'll send you the PDF. Okay, so meetupzoo.com. Okay, write that down because I still have some great things to share with you. All right, here we go. All right, 3 keys to your success. The first thing is you must build credibility. So within Meetup, when you set up a Meetup, you are the organizer. That immediately gives you instant credibility. What that does is that gives you access to other organizers. And these other organizers may have hundreds of entrepreneurs. Here's a secret. So the other Meetups, now that you're playing at a level, because I get emails, so many of them. Hey, I'm a speaker. I'd love to speak at your meetup. I don't even open up those emails anymore because I get so many of them. Now, here's a better way to do it, because again, it's about you adding value besides just coming to the event and speaking, because that's what every speaker is doing. So you have to do something a bit differently. This is how I got on a bunch of stages. I became an organizer. I started up a meetup. Well, now we run over 40 meetups. And not myself personally, but I have a team that runs them, and then I have trainers that actually do the masterminds. But what I would say is, I would say to the organizer, we'd send them an email, a different organizer that had the same demographic that we wanted to market to, and and we were also an organizer. So I would say, hey John, I'm a fellow organizer, and I see that you're putting on some phenomenal meetups. I would love to have you as a guest speaker on my stage, and if you find value in what I teach, I would love to come and share at your meetup also. And guess what? They would actually read that email, because they're looking to grow their meetup. That's their number one thing, is they want to grow their meetup. So how can you help them grow their meetup? That's the pain you want to solve. And if you solve that, then they're happy to do whatever it is what you ask of them. So so building credibility, playing on their level. If you're just a speaker, well, you're just like everybody else. But if you're an organizer and you can offer them a stage, and then they will in return offer you a stage, that's a great way. Now again, people will buy from experts. People love buying from experts. So how can you mark yourself even more out as an expert? Well, when you're up on stage speaking, and a lot of you are speakers, a lot of you have spoken up on stage, as soon as you step off stage, everyone's, bombarding you. Well, it's because you're the expert. They want to ask you questions. So that's when people will buy from you, when they believe you, when they trust you, when they like you, and they want to be like you. You must build a relationship. So now it's the days are over where it's like, okay, just buy my stuff. It's, hey, let's build a relationship. Let me educate you. Let me teach you something. Let me show you how to do something. And from that, we have formed a relationship. And because we formed a relationship, now you trust me. And now you're more inclined to buying. And you must be seen as an expert. You must be seen as an expert. Now, these things, it takes time, it takes skills, it takes tools, and it takes the right strategy. It takes all of those things. Now, this is not going to happen overnight. It's just not. I can't promise that to any of you. But what I can promise, if you are willing to put in the time, and I know a lot of you have already put in a lot of time, if you're willing to learn the skills, which I know if Mark invited you to this webinar and Shannon invited you also, they believe in you. And because of that, I know you're gaining the right skills. The tools, there's tools out there to help you. Well, one of the tools, if it's a right fit for you, it's not a right fit for everybody, but if it's a right fit for you, Meetup could be that tool. But the tool is no good if you don't have the right strategy. And that's where Meetup Zoo and the home study course that I put together, that's where it will help you. And I'll tell you how you can access the home study course if it's a good fit. I'm going to share with you at the end how you can get it. I've made it really, really affordable. And if it's a good fit, just get it. And if it's not, don't worry about it. When the time is right, if that's ever, you'll get it then. Okay. So, nothing can replace the rapport created through personal interaction. This is how it works. You set up a meetup. You design it properly. And I'll show with you examples. You'll put up a right header, you'll put up a description, you'll come up with just a really hot topic, and Meetup will do the prospecting for you. They'll say, "Hey, world," and this is in a 10-mile radius, by the way. So it's in your area, whatever your area is. There's a new meetup out. Come join it. And prospects will rush in. Then you'll set up a meetup. They will actually attend. Not everyone that RSVPs will attend. A percentage of them will. And you'll get a personal connection because you're going to teach something great. You're going to add value. They're going to love you. They're going to see you as an expert. And then the final step is you get a paying customer. Now, what happens is you need to have your funnel built out. So it's not you're going to spend a little bit of time, and you're going to spend a little bit of money with Meetup. Meetup is not free. It costs $72. And I think you do that biannually. And let me share with you the secret how you get their names and how you get their emails and phone numbers to build a list. I'm going to share with you that right now. How do you do that? Well, on Meetup, people will join your Meetup, but Meetup will not give you their information. So this is how we figured out. It's kind of like a little secret here. Well, when somebody joins your meetup, you can ask them any questions you want. Hey, why did you want to join the meetup? What value will you bring to our meetup? What do you want to learn? You can ask them questions before they join. Well, guess what? One of the questions we ask them is, hey, welcome to the group. What is the best email and phone number so we can welcome you to the group? That's what we ask. I'm going to say that one more time. We just say something like, what is the best phone number and email so we can welcome you to the group? And guess what? They give it. Sometimes they give just the email. Sometimes they give just the phone number. But oftentimes they'll give both. And then what we do is we export that and put that into an Excel sheet. I have a team that then calls that person and says, hey, Matt, welcome to our entrepreneur mastermind. We're so glad you joined. We look forward to seeing you at the next mastermind. I'll tell you right now, 99.9% of meetups, you will never, ever hear from the organizer. Ever. It's the small things that make it work. It's not like, oh, I tried that thing. I tried setting up meetups and it didn't work for me. Well, of course it didn't, because you didn't have the strategy. Did someone welcome them as soon as they joined? Did someone call them and actually remind them that the meetup was happening? No, no. Well, did you get their phone numbers and email? No. Well, of course, that's why it didn't work. Let me give you guys some examples. By the way, if you're getting some great value, just so I know, like, you guys are loving this, in the question box or in the chat area, just let me know. Hey, Mel, this is awesome stuff. Or if you have a specific question, ask it so I can answer it. Okay? So feel free to do that. Okay? All right. Thanks. All right. So here we go. Here is an example of a meetup. This is a young entrepreneur mastermind. You can tell in this meetup we have 173 members. We launched this was in '09. So we launched this a few years ago, and this group has more members now. But immediately I just got 179 members that normally, and their contact information that normally I wouldn't have. And we created something called, let's look at this featured meetup. It's called What's Working Now to Promote Your Business Through Effective Marketing, right? So this is an example of a meetup. Here's another example. This is an entrepreneur mastermind. Look at the banner there, benefit driven banner. Our topic: What's working now to promote your business through effective marketing. This meetup, Blossom, Newport Beach. You really set your meetup and zone in on the zip code. So here, Newport Beach, it's one of the sixth major wealthiest zip codes in the U.S. Well, these are the people I want to attract, and so some of you might be asking, okay, well, where the heck do you hold these meetups? Well, one place that we found that will give us free venue space is a Microsoft store near you. If you look at those pictures to the right, that's at a Microsoft store. They will give you free space. You can find like a real estate office would love to have entrepreneurs and business owners come through their space, right? So that's just a few venues that you can start to look at, because oftentimes it's like, oh, where am I going to hold it? Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. It might take, 6 months. It might take a year. It might take 2 years. I mean, even if it took 5 years for you to grow a few successful meetups that consistently brought you your client every single month and created your stage, would it be worth it to do it right? I don't know. That's a question you have to ask yourself. Here's another one. So I'm going to give you a super secret, and I only tell our one-on-one clients this secret. I just feel being generous, and I appreciate Mark and Shannon, and they're just awesome people. And so I'm just going to share with you the number one money making secret that very few organizers, they'll never do this, and very few organizers even know about it. So here's the secret: the regular way to run a meetup. And by the way, we don't take on one-on-one clients unless you're ready. That's why we created the entrepreneur, the Meetup Zoo home study, because that's more for everybody. When we take on a client, we'll do everything for you. One of the things we do is, when you set up your Meetup account, here's a secret. Oftentimes, people only set up one Meetup. Well, this is the thing, here's the golden nugget. Meetup actually, per account, will let you set up 3 meetups. So follow me here. What you just saw, okay, look at these slides. What you just saw is Entrepreneur Masterminds, okay? So it's marketed and branded in a certain way. But guess what? We also have a group called the Entrepreneurs of Orange County Business Explosion. Well, guess what? This meetup promotes the same live event as the other 2 meetup pages you just saw. So instead of, let's say 20 people registering and 10 to, 7 people showing up, and now you only have 7 people in your audience, well, we have 3 meetups all promoting the same live event. Okay, some of you will get this right now. Some of you this needs to sink in. But follow the genius behind this. Is we have 3 meetups online. They're all promoting the same live event offline at the Microsoft Store where we do it. And guess what? That triples our show up rate. That was a dramatic pause right there. So that's a secret where we've found, well, look, Meetup lets you set up 3. It's just up to you. You have to brand them differently. You have to, yes, it's a little bit more work in the beginning, but that's what we help our one-on-one clients with. And we then do the monthly management. So let's look at another one. This is somebody who just got started. Her name is Jen August. Some of you might know her. Jen August was one of our one-on-one clients. She was somebody who qualified to be our one-on-one clients because she already knew what she was doing. She had a back end. She knew that if we could put people in front of her, that she could convert them into her live events. So we said, okay, let's do it. So she paid us to set up a few different meetups. We created a persuasive banner. We wrote up some persuasive copy with her support. In one day, she got 30 new people in her area. This is just one day. Well, guess what? This was remarkable. And by the way, this is not typical results. I'm just letting you know right now, this is not typical, but for Jen August, it was the right market, it was the right branding, it was the right demographic area, and it was the right demographic target. What happened with Jen is that she got 30 people, but don't be deceived, because this is what happened. 21 of these extraordinary women RSVP'd. Okay, follow me here. 18 of them showed up to her event, her first event, and 16 of them bought to attend her workshop. Those are some phenomenal statistics. Okay, so this is a title we came up with her. Discover 5 proven steps to triple your income in 2014. So this is just these are great examples on how you can do it too. So the OC Young Entrepreneur Society, there's meetups like the OC Good Life. Here's like a martial arts one. So what it can be, I mean, the possibilities are really endless. So that is a very big golden nugget. Now, some of you are on the call and you're thinking, okay, what are my next steps? Mel, it's great. I want to get started. I want to get out there. I want to create my own stage. I want to speak more often. I want to be able to speak to my target market, which that in itself means that they are excited out of their minds to hear your content. We've all spoken to groups where it's like you're sharing great stuff, but it's just not the right group and they're sleeping. Well, we don't want that. We want to speak to the people who want to hear us, right? So, how do we create that through Meetup? Well, there's a program, there's a system I created. And I created this, and it takes you step by step by step through video, through a manual, through my screenshots, and it shares with you the ultimate resource to do this properly yourself. So I'm going to share that with you guys, and then I'm going to make you an irresistible offer. So for some of you, not everybody, but for some of you, here is your next step. The Meetup Master home setup system, it's $997. You're going to get 8 training videos, a 50-page setup manual, and a swipe file with extra bonus tools. So, the swipe file, what that means is it's actual email copy, it's description copy, it's topic copy that we've created, that we found that converts. I give that to you. This manual itself is worth the $1,000. That 50 pages, it is worth over $1,000 because it will guide you to do exactly what you need to do to be successful. And the 8 training videos, they're screenshots of me guiding you step by step on how to set up a meetup. And by the way, every program that I ever create is 100% guaranteed. That means if you don't absolutely love it, I don't need your money. I'll refund it to you. It's never happened, but I just wanted to put that out there. I'm also going to give you something awesome, which is a Meetup Zoo consultation. Now, this is the thing, is I can't promise it's going to be with me. Some of you will get me. Some of you will also get our qualified account executives. All right. So that in itself is building out your funnel. It's guiding you over the phone. And it is going to help you monetize your meetup when you create it. So we're going to map out your strategy. You're going to get keys to presenting a persuasive meetup, and you're going to discover in depth the 11 deadliest mistakes organizers make. And myself or one of our account managers will dive into asking your specific questions. Okay. So I'm excited for you guys because whoever takes me up on this is going to get a ridiculous, ridiculous deal. I wanted to make it affordable for everybody. And I wanted to support Mark, and I wanted to support Shannon and everyone who's really committed to your own success. That's a total value of $1,994. Okay. I'm going to do even actually better than 50% off. And this is really going to be for the first 5 people. You're going to get it for $297. That's it. $297. And I'll do one better. If you want just the downloads, you can take an extra $100 off. So it's only $197. That's for the first 5. Okay. Now, some of you are like, okay, Mel, where the heck do I go? This is the website. Go to meetupmaster.com. Meetup, 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 and then Master, MASTER.com. Go to meetupmaster.com, and the first 5 will be able to claim the downloaded copy for $197. If you want the physical DVDs mailed to you, then it'll be $297, and that's the amazing offer I have for you. So again, I hope you at least got some great insight into Meetup and the power of it and how to continue to go out there and speak more. At least now it's on your radar. Now, you can take this to whatever level you want. For me, I knew I wanted to build a global empire. Now, not everyone has, thoughts of world domination like I do, but I really wanted to make a really big impact in the world. So what I did is I set up meetups in Orange County. I set up meetups in San Diego. I set up meetups in LA. We're expanding up Northern California. And now what we do is we have anywhere from 6 to 10 meetups, all promoting one meetup. I hired people to outsource my meetups because there's a lot of ongoing management, especially when you grow it to a decent level, that needs to happen because it's a community and you have to keep up with your community. And I share all that, exactly what you need to do in this course. So get it. If it's something you know you want, get it. My guarantee stands true. Okay. I'll give you my contact information here in a moment. So if you have any questions, if you want to reach out to me, but go to meetupmaster.com right now, get your course. You'll be really happy you did. And now to this day, I have trainers going out there doing these meetups, growing and putting 100+ people into our 2 day event. And the 2 day event then turns into people buying a $5,000 program to a $30,000 program. And that happened. That took me about 3 years to perfect. You can now, with this program, do it maybe in 24 months, maybe 12 months. If you don't want to grow it to anything that large, or maybe that might be daunting. Some of you are like, yeah, let's do this, Mel. Great. It's going to take some time, but I'll help you do it. And so will Mark. If you don't want to grow and you're like, hey, Mel, I'm happy just making 6 figures. Well, guess what? That's 10 clients paying you $1,000 a month. You can do that, I would say, in 6 months, maybe 12 months at the most, if you apply the strategy properly. So that's what the Meetup course is for. It is your resource to help do this. So take action. The universe rewards one thing and one thing only, and that is massive action. So, Mark, I want to thank you so much for having me. If you have any questions, ask them to me now. I'm going to stay on a little while longer and answer as many questions as I can. It's backed by my personal guarantee, and this is my information. You can write down that phone number, leave us a message. We'll set up a time to chat, and that is my email. So, Mark, I'm going to hand it back to you. Thank you again so much for having me on the webinar.
Oh, Mel, thank you so much. I got Shannon
Mel,
with me
that was
here.
great. You
Woohoo,
all set.
Shannon!
We were taking notes the whole time. It was
Yeah,
fantastic.
really great. And I mean, you got even a better offer than what I thought.
I know. We're
You
like,
got
oh,
you
that's
guys.
hot.
One of the things that's hard to understand is you don't know what you don't know, and so there were just so many little tricks and so many brilliant little things that he gave away there
Mm-hmm.
on this webinar. So you know that the content that he has in the program is hot.
Mm-hmm.
So do what Shannon and I do. Head over there, get it purchased, take advantage of this, and use it to get a meetup. And we were already talking about certain people in our meetup group that
In our
are in our
tribe.
tribe
Yeah.
that are having their own meetups, that are wanting to get their own community built. And this is the great program at a great price to make that happen.
And it's a super easy way to fill your events. It's funny, Mel, we just had our meetup this afternoon, Visionary Women Enlightened Men, and we were talking about how to fill your events and how to get speaking gigs. And so this is perfect of like how to really, master meetup, and you created a hot system to just, it's like plug and play. So yay, I'm really excited, and it's an easy way for, we help, like a lot of the people in our tribe, they know once they have the speaking gig, then they know to offer their free gift and how to rock their enrollment conversation. So that speak your path to cash formula, really it all starts with getting speaking gigs. So that's been one of the biggest questions we've been getting, and that's why we wanted to have you on. So thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me on. And hopefully, I just wanted to deliver some amazing value, and people will really discover how to get more speaking gigs by not only setting up their own meetup, but also then networking and creating JV, joint venture relationships with other organizers, and how to do that properly. And that's all in the course. So
That's
I just
hot.
wanted to
That's
make a
really
really good
hot.
deal
That's
for
really
your
hot.
people. And you guys rock. And I know we're going to be seeing each other pretty soon here.
I know.
Yeah,
We
we're
can't
looking
wait.
forward to it.
It's gonna be great.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. So hey, you guys, you have a young, successful entrepreneur who's doing things that are cutting edge. You have him available right now to answer your questions. Raise your hand. Ask